Persona 5 is very sloppy with the way it frames its story. No, not the letterboxing that looks like it was cut out by drunken toddlers. That's fine. Hell, it's more than fine. It's style. What I want to talk about, though, is the in medias res opening and Joker's subsequent memories and/or interrogation. Now, I have no inherent problem with this style of storytelling. In fact, I quite like it when it's done well. My problem with it in Persona 5, though, is the blatant inconsistency. Persona 5 begins with a big action sequence, as many an in medias res opening does, which ends with our daring protagonist getting captured by the police, beaten up by some assholes in jail, and taken to be interrogated by Sai Nijima. It's at this point that we're taken to the chronological beginning of Persona 5's story via Joker's recollection of the events. As such, the framing of the story is pretty clear. Joker is remembering all the things that happened to him up until this point. And I guess telling Sai parts of it? Okay, I wish that part was more clear. I honestly have no idea how much Joker's actually telling Sai. But regardless, the telling of the story is very clearly set up to be from Joker's perspective. But if that's the case, how is it that I see so many things that Joker is unaware of? The principal ordering Makoto to find the Phantom Thieves, the SIU director's various conversations, Shadow Okumura being executed by the Dark Akechi. If Joker doesn't know these things, and Sai isn't telling Joker these things, then how the fuck am I seeing these things? Now, I can probably guess how most people will answer this question. With a big ol' who gives a fuck. Clearly I do, but if you don't, that's fine. I get the argument. Whatever lets the writers tell the most entertaining story. I'll admit it's something I didn't really notice or care about in the past. When I first played Final Fantasy X, I didn't think, wait, Tidus didn't notice Auron collapse near the far plane, why am I seeing this? Or that Baten Kaitos repeatedly takes an omniscient storytelling perspective, even though I'm supposed to be seeing it through the perspective of the unnamed fairy that's attached itself to Callus. But for better or worse, in recent years I've been paying more attention to story perspective, and once you start seeing these sorts of things, it can be rather difficult to stop. So, sorry about that. Anyway, I've got nothing against an omniscient story perspective. I admit it's by far the most natural perspective for visual media to employ, though I do find it a little surprising for a genre with role-playing in its name to so scarcely utilize the first-person perspective. But that aside, if you're going to directly tell me you're using a particular perspective, I'm going to expect you to fucking stick to it. I don't think that's too much to ask. So, back to Persona 5. I was actually okay with the way the story was being presented for most of it. Technically, just because there's an in medias res opening, or even the occasional return to the interrogation, it doesn't necessarily mean the story is being told to us by Joker or via his memories or whatever. Yeah, they did use Joker recalling the events to segue into the chronological start of the story, but even so, it's not unreasonable to give us an omniscient telling of the main story while also giving the occasional glimpse of future events. But then something happened. Wait, what was it? Right! Joker fucking forgets things! This is clearly the writers trying to have it both ways. Want an unreliable narrator? Great, Joker's telling the story. Want to tell us something Joker doesn't know? Go for it, no one will notice. Well, I fucking noticed. And let's not forget the fucking pancakes. Like many, I caught this little clue my first time through, and it was rather annoying that Joker and the others didn't. But this is so much more annoying when considering that it was Joker's memories we're seeing. So I guess at this point, he remembered that Akechi heard the cat talk, but didn't remember reacting to it or taking note of it. But then later on, he forgets that he remembered. And I guess he didn't tell Sai about it at the point in the story where it actually happened, because he needed her to trust him first? Or maybe Joker dropped the pancake hint to Sai, but she didn't notice it. And now I'm just back to how annoyingly unclear it is as to what Joker is and isn't telling Sai. Anyway, I'll stop bitching. For now. So, what would I have done differently? Well, I would have picked a perspective and stuck with it, preferably the interrogation framing. Also, forget the seeing Joker's memories angle. Show us what Joker is telling Sai. Don't show me stuff that Joker didn't see, say maybe the occasional scene that Sai is telling Joker about. And as for the whole don't sell out your friends thing, Akechi already knows who they all are. Shouldn't we be honest with Sai, seeing as getting her to trust us is what our entire plan depends on? And the only reason selling out the others is a bad end is because Sai seemingly loses respect for you and walks away afterwards. But if you're being upfront and honest with her from the beginning, then giving up your allies could be seen as a show of trust rather than a weak-willed betrayal. With that framing, I'd also make more use of the unreliable narrator. Don't have that obvious pancake thing in there, make that Joker's first memory lapse. Sure, that might be a bit obvious, but well, so are the fucking pancakes. Of course, if you want to be a bit less obvious, you could put a lot more memory lapses in. Or you could go the other way with it, leave the pancake thing in, and add even more hints that Akechi is the traitor. They don't even have to all be true, maybe Joker can fabricate some hints. You can cut out the whole memory loss thing entirely, which would be nice, since it'd get rid of the obviously biased timings. Instead, set things up so that Sai wouldn't just trust Joker if he said, Akechi's evil, so Joker acts as if he's not sure who the traitor is, but leads Sai to the realization with subtle hints. Pretty sure something like that could work. Also, I would build up a lot more of a rapport between Sai and Joker. Show more of her slowly coming to trust him and believe his story. Have her tell Joker about what was going on her end during these events and make connections between what she knows and what Joker's saying. Have her ask more about Joker and the Phantom Thieves' motivations and their sense of justice. And then again, we're stuck with a fucking silent protagonist, so I guess there's only so much that could have been done. Of course, there's an obvious solution to that problem, but, yeah. Anyways, making such significant changes to the structure of the story would require a lot of reworking things throughout, and some important scenes would have to either be cut or rewritten to include Joker. Things like An and Yusuke finding the room full of Sayuris, Makoto copying the data from Sai's laptop, and all the scenes showing the various villains' activities. For a painstakingly comprehensive list, see the video linked in the description. I can't honestly say with certainty that it would make the story better to do so, at least not from a pure entertainment perspective, which is probably what matters most to most people. Personally though, I think if it were done well, the story could be better for it. All that said, I feel I should probably mention that I do like the game's story. Despite all the bitching, these framing inconsistencies don't ruin the experience by any stretch. Really, I just want this to be something more people think about because I rarely see story perspective mentioned in regards to JRPGs, and I think it would be pretty cool to see more games utilize different perspectives. It just needs to be done less sloppily. Anyway, what do you think? Do you want more consistent narrative perspectives in your JRPGs? Are you as confused as I am how this building looks like it has anything to do with pancakes? Still incapable of caring any less about any of this? Or do you perhaps even prefer writers to switch to whatever perspective best fits the current scene? Would you feel the same way if a book ignored its own perspective like this? Let me know and have an awesome day. I'm surprised Sai didn't demand to know who cuts Joker's hair. You must have quite the barber to keep your hair consistently unkempt like that during your exploits as a phantom thief. Who holds the golden scissors? I demand you tell me. Seriously, not every confidant needs an interrogation scene. Sometimes it's okay to pick and choose.